In my head, it was about getting tankier, so I can get my third stack a bit faster, I guess, with that extra hit.
Yeah.
And there's some mana region, so I can use my spells a bit more. That's all I had. Like in my head, that's what it was.
Okay. So let me say it this way: you're telling me Echo Saber is a fighting item. Makes you tankier, harder to kill, makes you hit harder, makes you hit faster, so you have your passive more. It's a fighting item rather than being a farming item.
Okay. Right. See? I thought of it like a farming item. I guess, yeah.
Like, if you want to farm, you would prefer something like Radiance, or something like Battle Fury, something like Mjolnir, Hand of Midas. But Echo Saber, you want to hit enemy heroes with it. Like, yes, it helps you slightly with the farm, of course. Like, you're spending 3k gold on this item. It helps you. But, like, it's much more impactful in fights compared to farm. Compared to, like, some farming item. Let's say a Hand of Midas is definitely a fully farming item. Like, yes, it gives you attack speed, but, like, it's not a fighting item. It's a farming item. So, here's the question we need to ask ourselves. We take enemy bottom tower. It's 14 minutes in, 9-4. You don't see this 4K, but I'm pretty sure at this point in the game, you feel like you're ahead. Like, enemy lost mid tower, they lost bottom tower. We're about to take the top tower. We are ahead. Okay? So, which mode are you in? Are you in a fighting mode, or are you in farming mode? Do you want to farm right now, or do you want to fight right now? As a position 1 carry back.
I want to fight and push towers because we are like leading, and I'm thinking like draw is gonna be an issue later. So I want to play fast and fight and push. Is what I thought. I think.
So here's the thing.
I want to compete. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So I describe a winning situation, and you told me you want to fight. What situation you want to farm?
If I feel like our late game is better, is what I thought. If our lineup, if I feel like, right
when
now,
you say late game, what time of the game are you talking about? Like, what minutes? When you say late game, what do you think?
Like, it's around 40, honestly, because I've lost to like draw a lot. I've been thinking around 40 minutes, it becomes a bit hard.
Okay, so because you're afraid after 40 minutes, you are deciding to go for fight instead of farm at 14 minutes. That's not the right way to make that decision. Here's the thing. If you want to decide between farming and fighting, you need to think about, let's say, the next item. Okay? So, let's put it this way. Let's say you get the Echo Saber. Okay? The next item after the Echo Saber for you and enemy team, who's going to be in favor? Okay? If you are in favor on the next item, get the farming item. If enemy is in favor, once they get to the next item, and you need to bring the fight to them right now, because you have the advantage right now, then it's better to go for the fighting item. One more thing you need to consider is how farm heavy your team is. So in the Dota, especially in this part of the game, we want one hero to farm the map and get stronger, while others are trading the space and fights. Okay? So if you look at your Slaughter, he's going for the Echo Saber because he wants to fight. Look at your OD, he's going for a Witchblade. He wants to fight. This is a fighting item. Like, he hits heroes every 9 seconds to get some impact out of it. So since these two are fighting, you're supposed to farm.
Right. Okay, I did not make that conclusion at all.
Yeah,
that
so
makes sense to me.
If you have like some Tinker on mid lane, or something like a Lina or Templar Assassin, these farmish mid lane heroes, Shadow Fiend is another example that you might see a lot, then you would be more willing to go for fighting route with your hero. Most carry heroes have this option of going fight-ish build or farmish build. But it depends on your teammates and also the stage of the game. Mostly, I would say it's hard to describe like what enemy is doing, especially in your bracket, and like who's gonna be in favor. So it's much easier to make a decision based on your teammates, how active you want to be. Okay. All of that it's when you're ahead. If you're behind, the whole calculation would be a bit different. Like if you're behind, you need to recover at the first. Then you can think, okay, now that I recovered, now I can decide, okay, do I do more fighting ish or do I do more split pusher item build? You know, like at that point, we need to like make a different type of decision. We are ahead in this game, so that's the better thing to do. Notice how if your teammates are stick together like this, it's like, okay, you need to like form all of this space. You need to push bottom lane. You need to push mid lane at the same time, like in 1 minute, kind of. So you need an item that helps you do all of that as much as possible, at least. Yeah. Like, okay, Radiance would do that much better. Right? Yeah.
I honestly thought Radiance on Abaddon's too greedy or something. Like, I was like, oh.
It is to some extent greedy. You're not wrong, but you're at position 1.
In my head, I'm like, okay, so I have this thing. I'm like thinking, okay, if I don't join these fights sooner than later, my team is gonna start like losing fights, and I'm gonna lose the game.
That is when you have too many farmish other cores. Like if you have a, let's say Centaur on off lane, Centaur is relatively farm heavy, and a Medusa on mid or something, then yes, if you go for like a farming item, suddenly we don't have enough space to farm. Because like one of them is farming this, another one come to farm this, and like now you have to be AFK farming down here, which is not really that effective, or you have to like fight enemy heroes with a farming item, or you have to share farm, which all of the options are bad.
Yeah.
Like it happens a lot in this bracket, but in this current game, this is not happening. So let's enjoy the farm.
Yeah. Like, I did not recognize that I needed to focus on farming. Like that's not what I did. So that's good to know.
Yep. Yeah. Let's keep the farming with the Echo Saber. Okay. So like if you had a Radiance, you may have less impact on that fight, but you would be like, let me open this up. You would be like around 500 gold, more than this, because you had such a good lane, you would finish the Radiance around 15 minutes-ish. And then you would also scale much harder into late game.
Yeah.
Right. The real impact of Radiance would come like over time. Alright? What do you think is the main objective of the game right now? So I talked about like 7 minutes, the first 7 minutes be XP, around 7 minutes till like, let's say around now, around after like Radiance plus 1 item would be gold. Like right now, I would say it's still gold, but like, what come next? What should we do after finishing farm? Let's say you go Radiance, in this case you go in Harpoon, plus 1 item. So like in this game, I would say go Radiance into Manta perhaps. But then what? Then what would you do? Probably just Radiance at this point, but what do we do after that? What is the objective?
I would assume it's to push, but I think now farming is better.
Okay, but let's say we finish
at least pressure the carry and get a tower eventually.
Okay, how do we get a tower? Just casually walk into it and push it?
Nah, we gotta push our waves, like get like play with the team, get a kill, and then push tower.
What if they don't show? What if they just play safe and they just don't challenge us?
Right. Yeah. I guess I assume that we have reasons. Like with my W, that's what I've been doing, like putting it on creeps. Like I'm trying to push the wave, spamming it on creeps, like protecting my creep, and like I guess I was thinking, okay, I want to push towers. Okay. I'm using W to push my towers. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So the whole shoving the lane to an enemy, that's a fine thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with shoving the lane to an enemy face. Just don't risk your life over it. But here's the thing: if you want to push a tier 2 tower, whether it's bottom, mid, top, you either need to get some significant kills. Like 1 kill is not gonna cut it. You need like 2 or 3 kills. With proper heroes around the objective to get it. Like, right now, if you kill them, it's like only 20 seconds. It will take 20 seconds for these thieves to kill these and like get to the tower, and let alone killing the tower. So it's not gonna be easy. So if the kills is not the best option, because like it's not reliable to kill enemy, they just may play safe or something, then the best thing you can do is to go Roche.
Okay.
So especially with the hero like a Slaughter, who can remove the Roshan's armor in a significant manner, and you who can like easily give a lot of attack speed to everyone hitting the Roche. Also, these guys can hit the Roche hard enough. It's gonna be a super fast, super easy Roche.
Right.
Here's the thing: you're supposed to like suggest to your team go Roche, and what do you think they will respond?
They'll see it, they'll move around a bit. Someone might move. Probably the support will start moving there.
Most likely, they just gonna ignore you. That's my experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So since that's the case, first of all, don't bait yourself or your team to diving a tier 2. Here's the thing. Okay. It might work. Let's say there is a team fight happening 5v5 under this tower, giving our advantage. I would say we have like 60 to 70% chance to win that team fight. But I'm telling you not to do it. Why? Because that's enemy's best chance to come back to this game. That 30 to 40%, that's their chance. At the best case scenario. Look at this graph. They should have 9% chance only. That 9% chance is because when you go Roche, that's how unlikely it is for them to defend. Okay? So, Parter's going Roche early, and like with the first Aegis, you're supposed to take all these tier 2s. Super easy. They try to defend it, you're gonna win 90%, and then you gotta go high ground. Because you just kill them, and like you're Abaddon, you destroy tower.
So, what you were telling me, I guess like I haven't given enough I haven't given enough respect to the tier 2 towers. Like, I would do what you said for the tier 3 towers, but for the tier 2s, I hadn't thought. I'm like, it's just a tier 2 tower. I haven't really thought about it. Like, I could feed my whole team and have comeback. I think about that for the high ground, but I haven't thought about that for
the high ground is more serious version of tier 2. Here's another fact about tier 2s. They don't really give you anything. Like, let's say you take this tower, then what? Like, right now, you can farm these camps, right? Like, nothing is stopping you right now from farming these, right? Think about it. But even like in this situation, like usually triangle is not a safe place, but like we are so much ahead that you can even farm these camps and no one gonna stop you. Tier 2 or not tier 2. But like tier 1 tower, once you get them, the map is suddenly open. Like we can like go here, we can gank here. It's hard for enemy to have farm on the map. Like if they want to come out, they have this camp, they have this camp, maybe this camp. And technically that's it. We can hunt them on everywhere else. Right? But tier 2 doesn't really do much. Like you take this, maybe they don't take Tormentor, but if you finish it in the next 2 minutes, which is hard. So tier 2s are not that important, long story short. Tier 1s are important, especially in mid and safe lane. Off lane less. Like invading triangle is still hard, unless you have the proper hero for it. So long story short, give more care about going Roche, less care about tier 2s, and yeah. With your items, I understand you want to do this. With this item, I understand you want to push towers instead of farming because you don't have a Radiance. If you had a Radiance, it would feel way more natural to you to just farm at this point.
Yeah.
Another thing that comes, I told you about look at your cores and choose your farming item. If you go farm or not. You can also choose the type of your farming item based on how much space you have. So let's say you want to farm because your other heroes are fighting, But let's say they lost mid and top. And like now because they lost these two enemies all coming bottom with like 4 or 5 heroes, and this might happen to you before. Like your other lane loses and now everyone's showing up in your lane. And like you suddenly have low space to farm. And then Radiance is not good. Radiance needs a lot of camps to work out, right? Like with Radiance, you can easily farm 4 to 5 camps a minute. But if you don't have that many camps, what do you think would be a better farming item in that situation, in a game that your team is losing?
Oh, right. Maybe Yasha and Manta, something.
Think about something more farmish.
More farmish, like, I don't know. Do people make Vlads on Abaddon? Like, is that,
That's
like Midas, okay.
Like, this hand of Midas turns a little space of farm into more gold. You see?
In my, like, if I, so the scenario you described where we've lost mid and top, my head, I would think, oh, so I cannot make a Midas now because I need to like be active right now because we're gonna lose if this keeps going on. But I understand what you're saying now, but I'm just sharing how I would have thought about it.
Yeah. So the way you're thinking is that you want to fix the problem by fighting enemies.
Yeah.
It requires you to be like, let's say your mid lost like 2-0, your top lane lost like 3-0. You need to be like 6-0 to make up for it. You know? Like, how unlikely is that? Like, how strong you should be to do that? But what I'm telling you is to like get your Midas, wait for like some items on your carries that are behind, other cores that are behind. So like, if your mid lane is lost, that is enemy carry, enemy mid laner. They get to their items faster than your cores. Once your cores reach their first or second item, that's when, the difference power skill is not as high. They might be 2 level ahead, they might be half an item ahead, but it's not any significant margin anymore. It's like a lot of things will be more important. And if you have a Midas, you would be in par with enemy heroes. You would have like 2.5 item. And then, now we're talking. Now we can fight.
Right.
You know what I mean when I say half an item, right? Like, let's say you want a Manta, then you just have a Yasha.
You can have a Yasha, yeah.
And Yasha alone, like, it's an item, but like, it's not an item. Manta is an item.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good to know about Midas. That's good. Recovery Midas is something I haven't done since I started playing, but I guess I've done that like a long time ago. I thought it's just bad.
It's also depends on the patch and meta, like the enemy heroes. It depends on many things. Long story short, but that's like the general way of like, this is when Midas is good. If you want to give Midas a chance, try it in those type of games.
Right. Currently, I was thinking Midas is like, I'm so ahead, like I'm not missing a single creep. I can make a super early Midas, and that's why I should get it. Like that's sort of my thought process about Midas is.
Yeah, so a hard winning Midas, it's an option, but it's better when you have when you have limited farm spaces still. Like if your teammates are farming a lot of space, let's say in the same situation, your OD is like a Medusa. He wants to farm a lot, right? Suddenly, if he's farming a lot, you have a less space to farm. So you want to get a Midas instead of a Radiance because there is not enough space on the map for both of you.
Makes sense.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Honestly, I'm like, it's so good what you're telling me. Like, I'm really happy to hear all this stuff. Like, it makes sense, and I see you. Like,
I'm glad to be helping.
What
are we doing? Okay, how do you feel about this dive?
Just absolute brain dead, dumb, really stupid. Like, I'm probably bored or something. It's just stupid as fuck.
Okay, so you're on top of the net force. If you find yourself on the top of the net force, if you having the best game ever, one death can be all it takes for an enemy to come back. One bad death.
I feel like I've done this a lot. Honestly, in my games.
Yeah. You need to seriously chill out and way more thinking about Roshan. Like this death, look at this.
It's because it's draw. What went to my head was like enemy carry, right? Like I'm like killed enemy carry. It's pretty dumb. Yeah.
That's enemy carry, man. He's below your support.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
He's not even a support, man. Even now, okay, you don't
I
have
could
a
have
TP.
gotten
If you
that.
had a TP, you could just TP back. Like, okay, please carry a TP at all time. And what's up with this Sanj and Yasha? Why do you need Sanj and Yasha?
I thought, do I make a BKB? That sounds bad. Maybe I'll get more status.
Why BKB
that
is
is
bad?
dumb. Is it?
Can you enlighten me why BKB is bad?
I felt like I don't really like. I wanted to hit more and not like just get. Like I was like, just some status resistance. This is really bad thinking. Like I built Manta. Like I haven't played enough Abaddon with Manta to see how good it is. So after these games, I've played Manta Abaddon only, and like it's insanely like I would never make SNY like that. My thinking was really bad. I literally thought just some status resist is good enough for me to. Like I just need to be a little bit tanky and I can like win this.
Okay.
I didn't know how good Manta was. Like about how it applies the passive, right? Like the Manta use.
They do apply your passive.
I did not know that. When I built SNY here, I did not know that, so that was really.
It's fine. But here's the thing. Here's the question. When is Sanj and Yasha a good item? Okay. When is Manta a good item? And when is BKB a good item? All of them are meant to keep you alive. Okay. So when we are ahead in the game, after our farming item, usually we want an item that allows us to survive. Okay?
Okay.
And then we need an item that allows us to kill, find solo kills. And then we need an item that allows us to go high ground. Sometimes we get the kill item first, then survivability items, based on the hero. Based on like hero kit and everything. Some heroes they have one part and so they can like escape it. Like Sven, for example, he has cleave, he can farm for himself. He doesn't buy a farming item all that much. He has spent less money on that. So with that said, in which cases when we building a survivability item, we buy SNY, when we go Manta, and when do we go BKB?
Honestly, SNY, I have no clue. BKB, I could at least like guess. I guess. I mean, BKB is if there's a lot of disables that don't go through BKB that are stopping me, I should probably get it. Especially against Invoke, I should get BKB. I think like Custo, like it really fucks me up. Manta, if I want to like dispel something or want dodge stuff, like they have single targeted stuff a lot. Manta is good.
Okay.
And to push and everything. I mean, Manta got buffed this patch as well, I guess, so I guess it's a good item.
It didn't get buffed. I would say it's a nerf, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It becomes harder to build it because this recipe is like too expensive.
Alright, no, I was talking about this 7.35B, they increased the Yasha attack speed thing.
Yeah.
That 12. Oh, yeah, that's all. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. That's absolutely
increase
you're right. Yeah.
Attack bonus speed by 3. Yeah,
I don't know.
to some extent.
I just saw it, I was like, it went to my head, I was like, oh, buff, cool.
Yeah.
That's what.
Okay, so, you're mentioning about BKB is kind of correct.
Yeah.
There is other things going to BKB. I don't want to go into too much detail to save some time.
Yeah.
But here's one thing I would add to that, and that is if BKB allows you to farm more aggressively. Let's say you can farm into enemy faces. Like let's say you can dive this tower, or like you can like farm this area, and if they try to kill you, you just BKB TP out. Okay, and they have nothing to stop that. That's like a very high value of a BKB. It's just kind of guaranteed that you survive. Okay. Usually, as you mentioned, if they don't have a stun that goes through BKB, that's like become a higher value.
Yeah, I can just TP. Like I think about this when I'm playing Jug. I'll aggressively farm. I'm like, oh, spin TP out.
Yeah.
Like I'll do that.
Now, in this specific game, if you notice, they have so much stun, and as you mentioned, BKB is good against that. They have a stun, Hex on Lion, a stun on this guy, another stun on this guy. If he gets a shot, like that thing would be like range as well. This guy, like everything he has, just they don't go through BKB other than the ulti impact. And like Invoker, most of his spells it just doesn't go through BKB, and like his orchid doesn't matter against it. Now, so this game, if I were you, I would definitely go BKB in this situation.
Yeah.
If I had a Radiance, since Radiance works on Manta, and I can just use the Manta Illusion at that point to push lanes, to farm places that I normally can't. And I can farm a bigger space because of it. Then I would just go Manta first, play a bit more safe, and then I would get a BKB after the Manta. In that situation, if I had a Radiance in this game. And Manta is good when they have limited resources to control you, and it's mostly dispellable, whatever they have. So stuff like Stun, Hex, they're not as dispellable or disjoinable with Manta. Manta is not bad against single target. Like if it was just a Hex, you could preemptively Manta, and he doesn't know which one to Hex. Okay, so it's just hard for him to do it. Like one moment is all you need to react and survive or something. But in this game, he has an AoE stun, another AoE stun, another bunch of AoE stuff. So Manta alone doesn't cut it in this game.
Yeah, and I just remembered, I thought for choose, it was like, in my head, I was like SNY or Manta. I actually didn't give BKB that much priority. And I was like, oh, since there's Earthshaker, why you had no units? That was another slight thing. I was like, oh, I'll just make SNY.
Yeah. And SNY is more of a tempo item. So once you're let's say you're going for that fighting build, and you have some kind of inbuilt lifesteal or regen to amp up with the Sange. Like if you have some kind of lifesteal already, let's say someone has a Vladimir offering, or you have a Marcy that gives you lifesteal, or something like that on your hero, the Sange become more valuable. Also, in situations that no other item helps you, the Sange is also good. Like if you're too tanky for enemy to kill you, then suddenly, you can just get a Sange and get away with it, kind of. But I don't recommend you to risk it. Sange and Yasha is not an item I see that often on Abaddon in their recent patches. So unless you're going for some kind of a Heart of Trash build, you just be a tank, you're just tanking through stuff instead of dodging the damage. And one last thing. You need to still buy BKB against spells that goes through BKB. Don't make that mistake of not building BKB just because their spell goes through it. So imagine you BKB, but enemy has a Magnus that use RP on you, or you have BKB but enemy use Black Hole on you. Yes, you're getting controlled, but enemy magic damage is still getting blocked by the magic damage percentage that magic resistance that the BKB gives you. So it becomes less likely that they can kill you in that duration. It depends on enemy's damage time, but it's one thing to consider when getting BKB. It gives you momentarily high magic resistance.
Yeah, that's a newer change to me, a bit unfamiliar, so I should remember that. The magic resist stuff.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I was meant to have this.
So right now, I would say your hero, even at this point, we are still ahead. We are still winning this game by a very good margin. Just change this tier 1 to a tier 2. And other than that, you need to itemize for high ground. So we talked about farming item, we talked about fighting item, we talked about survivability item. Let's talk about high ground items now. Can you guess what is a high ground item, and can you give me an example of a high ground item?
Oh, I honestly have no clue. Maybe I'm thinking Lotus or something.
Okay, that's a support version of it to some extent.
Yeah, I can't think of a carry except the Dragonlance, which didn't make sense for Abaddon. I'm thinking for Abaddon, what's a high ground item? Honestly, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Maybe a Crimson Guard.
Just name something. It doesn't have to be for Abaddon. Just name some good item for high ground.
Like Dragonlance on range carries, having more attack range, and Maelstroms are wave clear. Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay. So high ground is when we are focusing on an objective while enemy is hitting us. So item that allows us to tank to enemy damage and go through objective become high ground items. Items like Heart of Trask, Assault Cuirass,
right.
Satanic, these kind of items, like Lotus Orb for support, like it uses on the core that goes high ground and hit. You see, like the Lotus Orb itself doesn't do much by its own, but like it's good when enemy wants to cast spells on us while we're not doing anything on them most of the time. These kind of
okay,
items.
can you explain? Okay, so why is Heart and Cuirass, like, why are they considered high ground items? Like,
So okay, imagine yourself up here hitting this tower, and enemy team is hitting you. Okay, if you have a Heart of Trask, it's way more likely that you survive their damage and their initiation.
Okay.
And like you either finish the objective or you survivably get out. You know.
So like, is Cardi considered a high ground item because it gives some time?
No, Cardi is more of a utility. It to some extent in some heroes like it can do that, but like it's a weak one in that. Like every item does everything to some scale, right? So like yes, Escadi gives you bonus HP that helps with that, but like that's about it. It's like extra 600 HP. While a Heart of Trask not only gives extra 700 HP, it also gives you a lot of regen. The regen being the important part. AC making it harder for enemy to deal damage to you. Do you know how the Drow Ranger ulti works?
Basically, when she's close to you, she doesn't do damage. Is that wrong?
Okay, that part is correct, but like once he's away from you, how does he deal damage?
Based off agility, yeah. It's
okay, read it out.
Oh, okay. Grants her a chance to launch arrows with incredible accuracy and effectiveness, pierces through enemy defenses, ignores base armor. Okay.
What is base armor?
The what you start with, like if it's grade up. No, not what you start with, it's what you get from stats, right?
Yeah, it's this 22 is
22,
base, and this 11 one is like a bonus armor.
From the right.
Okay.
So it ignores my 22 armor and hits me. Okay, that's crazy.
Okay. And read the rest.
And allies receive 50% of the bonus that Drow receives. Okay. So 30%, 40% chance, extra damage 60-80, agi bonus of 40%. So what does agi bonus means? Basically, it scales with her agi, I guess.
Yes. Right? So that's the part you mentioning. Yes, agi is important on Drow and everything, but the more important thing to you as an enemy of him is that you need to have plus armor.
Plus armor. So right, I need to build plus armor.
Okay, so what is the best plus item in the game?
Sorry?
What is the best plus armor item in the game?
Oh, plate mail, is it?
Plate mail gives like 7.
Oh, sorry, plate. No, I meant plate mail and whatever
that gives 10 armor.
Okay. I'm not sure. Cuirass is 10 as well.
It's 15. Read the passive part.
Right. Okay. So I thought this was 10 for me and 5 for the team. That's how I read it. That's my.
It's 10 for you and 5 for everyone, so it will become 15 on you.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand that correctly before.
Yeah. Okay. Every aura is like that. Like if you read the Bassi as well,
if it's allies, that means you're included.
Come again?
Yeah. So if it's like Bassi, doesn't mean. So it's 1.5 for myself.
Yes.
Oh my god, I totally don't know this. Okay.
Right. So like you think you get a Sage Mask, it gives you 0.7 mana, and then you upgrade it and it gives you less mana?
I honestly was having a conversation with my friend and laughing about this. We are like, why are we ever going to build the Bassi again? Because, okay, it makes sense now.
That's what you build it from now on.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. AC would be an awesome item in this game because of the Drow Ranger and how it works. Also, you know how this scepter on the Shaker works, right?
Not the details, I guess. Clearly, I didn't know. Okay, I know he can jump with it and it does aftershock and all that.
Okay, he can jump, but like it will activate this item, which gives 400% base bonus damage. You see that?
Yeah.
And 400% is a lot of physical damage.
Yep. Okay.
Hence armor being good.
Okay. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So in this game, enemy has 2 cores that they deal physical damage. How about after our BKB, we just build some proper armor?
Yeah.
And that should be
Yeah.
that should be our high ground item after, of course, going Roche. With that, I think we're even past the 1 hour. Do you have any question? And do you want to continue this session?
No, I'll definitely message you. We'll book another session. I'll check out your prices and we'll do it. Sorry for exceeding your time right now.
It's fine.
For sure.
No problem.
Honestly, then so much.
Cool. I'm glad I could help. Do you have any last question? Anything else you may want to ask?
No, I don't want to keep you anymore. I feel bad for
It's okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I want this session to be useful.
No, it was really useful. I learned a lot, and I'll try to remember this stuff and apply it in my next few games. And
so just to complete, in this specific game, I would if I were to itemize instead of you, I would go for this phase boot. I would build this magic wand into Radiance, into Manta, into BKB, shard somewhere in between, probably after BKB. So you can apply your attack from long range and slow the enemy down and everything. It allows you to have a reach since you don't have a harpoon in that situation. After that, I would either go for AC or a Blink Dagger because you need to go on top of Drow. Don't forget that. As long as you BKB blink on him, you would kill him. If you kill the Drow, they suddenly don't have damage to kill your team. And if I don't have a Drow Ranger problem, let's say he's not impactful really after I have AC, then I just go for the AC and then I finish the blink. It's a choice between going AC or going blink based on how the game is going. If you have to go high ground, AC is better. But if the fights are happening outside the base, the game is more balanced, then you go for the blinks. So you can go on top of them.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And you would get armor, choosing armor with your jungle items. Anything that gives you armor, it's good against them. Something like this.
Drows out big nose base armor is huge for me. I play a lot of Drow and I didn't know this. I really need to read this stuff.
Yeah, you need to read with details and once you play them.
It's I've been playing for a while. I've been playing since 2012. So I'm kind of lazy to, I guess, catch up on changes and stuff and haven't done it enough.
There are good YouTube videos if you check them out. You can find good information. But
I learned so much, but the little things you said are not mentioned. I watched a bunch of content too. I'm actively trying to improve.
Yeah.
So I do watch content, but things you told me that was specific. It was towards target towards me. It was great, man.
I'm glad to help. By the way, on Abaddon, your scepter is also a very good high ground item. So scepter is a different item on different heroes. On Abaddon, it's an awesome high ground item. You know what it does. So if you don't, just read it.
Right.
Yeah. That would be it.